So when I install a free-to-play game, it's kind of like when I see a small child walking onto the stage of a nationally televised talent show, like X Factor or America's Got Talent. I inherently assume it's going to be a terrible experience, and most of the time it is.
My name Money Man, just like being that by Philip in the air.
But every now and again, there's a free-to-play that looks like yet another cringeworthy 7-year-old ready to make the entire audience uncomfortable, but once you actually give it a chance...
Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you.
it turns out significantly better than you expected.
Wow, man, that's surprisingly relevant. Like, she's singing about the Titanic and your videos about ships, that's all.
Shut up, man. Don't ruin it. Well, in this case, that 7-year-old is World of Warships. And in case that name sounds familiar, yes, much like Far Cry 3 is like Skyrim with guns, World of Warship is like World of Tanks with boats. Or ships. Or whatever. Because even though one happens to be on land and the other's in the sea, they're still both pretty much
guns, 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 ropes.
And on that note, I should tell you this video is sponsored by Wargaming, which means that I'm being paid money to make it. And I like money for a number of reasons.
To tell you the truth, I actually already put all the money in a low-cost index mutual fund that mimics the performance of the S&P 500 as a part of a well-diversified retirement portfolio, but that's not nearly as exciting. Why do people even bother microwaving these?
So the first 300 of you that use the code IAMACAPTAIN 2016, oh god, really? Okay. Via the link below, get 250 doubloons, 7 days of premium time, and 1,000,000 credits, and a free ship. I know it's kind of weird being given such an arbitrary amount like 1,000,000 credits, but hey, if you don't want it or you don't like the game, you can always uninstall, I don't care. Ships. Once you've gotten all the boring stuff out of the way, like installing the game and choosing your screen name, I was stuck with Warship Captain 101 on my press account with 1,000,000,000,000 credits on it. Yeah, kill me. It's time to pick yourself up a ship, and doing so is easy as ABCD. Aircraft carrier, battleship, cruiser, destroyer. The aircraft carrier experience is basically a point-and-click adventure game that moves at the pace of a tranquilized snail, so if you're like 10th Prestige in a game like Hotiful Boyfriend, those skills will definitely carry across and you'll be sinking ships in no time. Battleships are basically the fat bully at recess in that they're large, in charge, it can hit hard, but have little to no mobility.
No, 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 no! Hell no! 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 I refuse. No!
My personal recommendations are either the Yamato, which really should be pronounced the Yamato, like tomato, given all the Japanese Gensus that decide to paint their ships red, or if you're in the mood for something a little smaller, you can always go with the Mr. Miyagi, not even for the relevance of the Karate Kid, but just because it's the coolest looking ship there is.
Wax, wax, wax. I do that, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi.
The Destroyer is the opposite of this, in that it's super quick, super agile, and equipped with torpedoes, or torps, as the salty sea veterans call them. They essentially exist to perform drive-bys in the ocean, but instead of riding in a 64 Impala, they ride around in like 60,000 tons of welded steel.
Jumped in the phone, hit the juice on my ride. Got front and back, from side to side. Then I let the Alpine play. Bumping new shit by NWA. It was a gangster at the top of the list. Then I play my old.
So I like to think that I can appreciate irony. Like, I find it funny most of the time, but when I'm making a video about ships and it's being interrupted by a literal ship outside that will not shut up, like, what? You're in port, why are you making these noises? Just look at this. Since when did Carnival Cruises start sounding like nightclubs?
The cruiser happens to fall right in between the two, and then it has some qualities of the big bulky battleship and some qualities of the delightful dank destroyer. Just think of it as like a recommended hybrid if you're just starting out in the game.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
You can call me narrow-minded because even though there are, what, 170 ships to choose from Japan, the US, Russia, Japan, Germany, England, and Japan, I ended up just selecting the USS Titanic, which is not all that awkward by itself, but when this is the first map that I randomly get spawned into, yeah, things were not destined to turn out well. Customize. No, wait. Getting decked out. Because ships have I'm only like 900 feet away from a body of water. Can someone just drown me, please? Now that you've selected your vessel, it's time to make it unique, starting with your commander. Like the guy that I selected, Brian McDonald's. McDougal. whatever. You can spec out your commander with various upgrades that I'm not going to talk about because they're basically self-explanatory. Just be sure to throw some goofy looking camouflage in your ship that looks like neatly arranged vomit and you'll be set to go. Keep in mind that you can customize nearly anything you want, even where you dock your ship, with possibilities like Yokosuka, which is basically that Eiffel 65 song from the late 90s. The Philippines, which I'm so jaded about, I can't even see it as the Philippines. I just see it as Crisis Land, where I hear sounds like Cloak Engaged and throw North Koreans around like they're beach balls. The Black Sea is really uninteresting. Zipango, which is Japanese for volcano, is pretty beautiful. It even has the Japanese equivalent of the Eiffel Tower. I really have no idea what Zipango means, by the way. It definitely doesn't mean volcano. New York, because seeing the Empire State Building is kind of neato, but I guess nobody cares anymore that Casey Neistat stopped daily vlogging. St. Petersburg lives up to the stereotype of constantly running fireworks, but I'm not here to complain. Hawaii is the default, which, don't get me wrong, is gorgeous for most of the year, but I hear sometimes in early December things can get a little messy. And last but not least, my personal favorite, ocean. Yeah, they don't even specify which ocean it is. It's just ocean. Just you, all by yourself, as a man, in the ocean.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand.
Stop using that song. You should also know that Wargaming is very active with their community, so you can see upcoming challenges and events in the upper left, such as the Steven Seagal event, which is not at all shopped, it's definitely a real thing, and even on our Pegio anime integration. Yup, there are anime commanders and ship skins. This anime plug was even a suggested talking point. Not kidding at all. I'm just glad I was able to restrain myself before I responded to the original offer and made the sensible decision to accept the terms. Do I really want to click on this Japanese anime character that's has blue hair and is hugging a body pillow? I don't think I do. Combat. Like anything you're brand new to, don't expect to be a professional right away, because your first game is definitely going to go the same as mine.
Action stations.
Wow, that's a pretty awesome intro. When do I get to see the other ships? Why am I on fire? Keep in mind that much like World of Tanks, other ships are not visible at all times. They're invisible or hidden until they're spotted, fire weapons, or within a certain proximity to you. So don't be surprised about an enemy ship popping out of nowhere. You've got three main weapon types that you can use to blow other ships out of the water, which include high explosive shells, armor-piercing shells, and torpedoes. High explosives cause fires that incapacitate other ships, but if it's a big Bertha, it's not gonna do that much. Armor-piercing rounds can do serious damage if you hit the magazine or major components of a larger ship, but if it's a smaller ship, it's pretty ineffective due to a term called over-penetration, where it essentially just punches straight through and doesn't disrupt anything useful. Torpedoes are nothing short of horrifying if you know how to use them because of their colossal damage, but they move pretty slowly, have a short range, and in general, you have to have some masterful distance-leading calculation skills to make them deadly. As you can imagine, the guy in the lobby with the biggest smile on his face is usually the guy in the destroyer who can calculate speeds, distances, and player behavior so well that he basically knows exactly what's going to happen 30 seconds in advance.
Because you're a bunch of predictable bastards.
You can fire these torpedoes in a tight spread or a wide spread, depending on how much of a scrub you are, and overall, the Japanese have the very best ones.
Oh, that's too bad.
Even with the regular cannon projectiles, there's so much hype and anticipation about whether you're going to hit or not. If you use the middle mouse click, it's unnecessarily cinematic. If and when you start getting pummeled by other ships, just start spamming R. It's the best thing you can do. Just don't listen to your crew. They will tell you a bunch of nonsense like, oh,
The ship is on fire.
and then magically,
Problem solved, sir.
oh really? You fixed the... A quick footnote is that if you hear the dubstep wubs, you are most definitely about to die. And what would a modern video game be without crate openings? Only in World of Warships, the only thing inside crates are more crates. And that's about it. Be sure to check out the link below if you'd like to play this game for yourself for free. And for those of you that are mad about it being a sponsored video, I already thought this game was fun before I was paid to play it. So in the words of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, I Dimmadome give a